Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad-pada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So yes, welcome back everyone. So we are seeing 18th verse of chapter 4. How a individual perceives action or work. Can't hear? You can hear? Can't hear on Facebook? You can. I'll continue talking, can hear. So, how does an individual perceive action or work? We have very simple cognition. Our cognition is on Facebook. You can please tell me again if you can hear or not. Yes, T, I presume you can hear. Okay, so our cognition is very simple and it is also by default. It is swabhavik. Our cognition regarding work, karma, action as individuals is very simple and it is also default, by default. How we think is not discerned, means it is already available to us. It's easy because it's default mode of thinking. By default means what is already available to us. It's like saying when we are born, by default we have water and air for our survival, food for our survival through our mother. By default, there is no prayatna needed. That's called by default. Our thinking regarding action, karma, work, what word tunes to you, stick to that word. the word that talks to you, the word that opens up the concept. Karma is what I find very communicable. But work, action to your own self, what clicks to you. This work by default, what is our cognition? आसानी से हम क्या सोचते हैं जिसमें हमें बिल्कुल स्ट्रेन नहीं पड़ता है, जिसमें वी डोंट हैव टू डू एनी एफर्ट एट ऑल. What do we naturally think? That doing something, which means employing the body, employing our mind, employing our speech, शरीर से शरीर से जो भी हम करते हैं वो कर्म है. दिस इज बाय डिफॉल्ट. आसानी से सोचते हैं शरीर से हम कुछ भी करते हैं वो कर्म है. What we do employing the body is action, is work. What do we do by our body, with our body? We have our hands, we have our feet. We really do not think much further. An ordinary average person who's not aligned to vichar, सोचना जिसको नहीं है, वो बाय डिफॉल्ट यही सोचता है. हाथ पैर चलाए हैं तो कर्म है, हाथ पैर चल रहे हैं तो कर्म हो रहा है. Means I can be using my hands and my feet, and that is all I call as work. And what is not doing anything? हमने नहीं किया. Not employing the body is our concept of not doing. That not doing in Sanskrit is akaram. A is the prefix negating karam. Karam का opposite. कर्म क्या है? करना. कैसे करते हैं? शरीर से युक्त होके. Employ the body. So with my hands, what all can I do? I can exercise, I can do so many multiple jobs with my hands, with my fine fingers. The whole life we are using our hands and our feet. What do? We go here and there. What more really can we do with the feet? I really do not understand. Just other than the fact that feet takes us from one place to another place. What other karma does feet do? I do not know. Hands do all the work and feet does the ambulation for us. चलने का काम, जाने का काम, आने का काम. No? All this is feet. ना करना. स्वाभाविक दृष्टि. I didn't use my hands and my feet, so I didn't do anything. मैंने कुछ नहीं किया. Very simply we say that. Very easily it comes out. मैंने तो कुछ नहीं किया. If someone says, why did you do that? मैंने तो कुछ भी नहीं किया था. Why didn't you do that? मैंने तो किया था. Which means whole orientation of work, of काम, of karam, काम in Hindi. करना. Think about it for a moment. Connect to that feeling. हम किसे कर्म कहते हैं? जिसे हम कर्म कहते हैं, शास्त्र दृष्टि में वो कर्म है कर्म श्योर इनफ. क्यों है? There is a reason. Because we employed our body, the one who has directed the body to do a certain thing or not to do a certain thing. In both of them, someone directed the body from within. मेरा संकल्प था, मेरी इच्छा थी, मेरी मर्जी थी, मेरी जरूरत थी, मैंने सोचा, I wanted to. All these that are centered on I, मैं. Sorry. All this that is centered on I and मैं is kartri tantra, based on karta. If I don't have a karta bhav, करने का भाव is karta bhav. मुझे करना है, that भाव, that अहंकार कि मुझे करना है, मैंने किया, that भाव of owning the sharir and directing it to do a certain thing, owning the sharir and directing it to do a certain thing is kartra tantra, based on karta bhav. The more karta bhav one has, that is ahankar, more ahankar one has, more it is centered on the sharir, that person, Shastra says, has is rooted in avidya. वो नहीं जानता. क्या नहीं जानता? Now Shastra is going to give us the right meanings of both of them. Krishna here through the Bhagavad Gita explains it. हमारी नजर जिसमें बैठी है by default वो सही है कि नहीं है, that Krishna is unfolding here for us. Straight away, what does he say? वो सही नहीं है. Not entirely. Why? Karma, correct. What you've understood as karma is karma. But what we as individuals have understood akarma is to be understood again, keeping in mind that it was a choice I took not to do. And that is karta bhav. So both of them, to do or not to do, are both centered on ahankar, on karta bhav. And because karta is involved, anything that will come through the karta is qualified to be called a karma. And once it has got the designation of a karma, it is bound to give a fruit. कर्म को आप फल से अलग नहीं कर सकते, और फल बिना कर्म के आ नहीं सकता. There are two sides of the same coin. You cannot have a action you did and you have no experience of it. You may not connect when you did what you did, because as Shastra says, it's guhyam. It's very deep. The concept of karma, the idea of karma, jiva is anadi kal, is going on. So we do many karmas. We may not connect why I am experiencing what I'm experiencing just now. Why am I going through what I'm going through? Good and bad both. And as human beings are aligned within themselves, we recognize the bad much louder than the good. And no human being can have a human birth without the mishran of the good and the bad, the punya and the paap के मिश्रण के बिना आपको human शरीर मिल ही नहीं सकता. आपका जीवन human body नहीं हो सकता, human life नहीं हो सकती, unless until there is a mishran of both good and bad experience to be experienced together. They'll come together. But our vision is where, because I seek my purnata, what I find my attention on is what I think is missing. And therefore, for me, the idea of the idea of karma and akarma means it has to be centered on karta. I have to do something to fulfill myself. And if I don't do something, I think I won't get a result. But here the first correction made for us is no. It is not that by not doing you will get no result. And I want to modify this statement from yesterday a bit, because I got a message or so, and I think that understanding is incomplete. It is not that not doing alone is giving you the fruit. I'm repeating it, be attentive. It is not that not doing is giving the fruit. By not doing what you should do, You are doing something else in its place. Because, as we have seen, Sharira cannot sit quiet even for a moment. Gunas will not keep quiet even for a moment. आप कुछ ना कुछ तो करोगे. जब आप कह रहे हो कि मैंने ये नहीं किया, तो आपने कुछ और किया. So by not doing what you should be doing, Shankaracharya and the Acharyas of the Parampara from ages have been saying this. By not doing what you should be doing, you will land up doing what you should not be doing then. A very simple example I'll give you. We did the Bhashya Parayanam. No compulsion to do. It's not ordained that it is to be done. We did it, finished it in whatever time we had allotted for ourselves, with whatever discipline we had decided for ourselves. The question is, if we had not done it, what were we doing in its place at that time? We didn't have classes for 2 weeks, supposing. That is a very recent for all of us. When you don't have a class, we don't have our own satsang, we don't have our own adhyayanam, when we are not doing what we are supposed to do, हमने उस वक्त क्या किया? Be honest. Instead of this, what did we do? Many of us, of course, thanks to our televisions and everything, our YouTubes, everything, media is full. Did I do what I was supposed to do then? कर्म ना करने का फल किसका है? ना करने से फल है? Is that what the Siddhant is? No. By not doing what you should have done, you did what you should not have done, and that is fal prayojanam. What you did remains. And this is where the human being has to be extremely vigilant. And it is not possible to have a spiritual gati. Adhyatmic gati is impossible without your vigilance within yourself. What am I doing? What am I saying? What am I employing myself? My doership किस में लग रही है? Because in whichever direction it is that what I am supposed to do? If it is not what I am supposed to do, I will land up doing what I am not supposed to do, and that will give a result. Therefore, in this verse, Krishna has said, बुद्धिमान वो है जो कर्म में, I'm sorry, here first we are taking the other example. बुद्धिमान वो है जो इस अकर्म में भी कर्म देख रहा है. Is this clear? First sentence? That's true. We do it compulsively also. Buddhiman, who's a wise person, who's a thinking person. Wise बुद्धिमान means जो सोचता है, जो सही सोचता है. बुद्धिमान उसे कह सकते हैं. सोचने को तो हर कोई सोचता है. Even worrying is supposed to be सोचना. That's not सोचना. Sochna means you are able to correlate the causes and effects correctly. There's a discipline of thinking. Who's a buddhiman who can employ a free thinking will? The one who employs a free thinking will, वो कौन है? He will see that by my not doing what I'm supposed to do, what am I generating in the future? Avoiding doing what I should be doing and doing what I should not be doing, what am I creating in the future? What am I carving for my future? What am I adding to my future experience? What I should not be doing means I have fallen for something easier and tempting. And in the language of the Bhagavad Gita, paradharma maybe. It was never my dharma. जो मेरा धर्म है ही नहीं, and I do that instead of doing जो मेरा धर्म है. That paradharma is bhayavaha. We saw that. It is going to be bondage. It will give you more and more unpleasant experiences in life. दुख का कारण वही है. दुख का कारण we all understand by now. दुख का कारण बाहर नहीं है. Nobody is the cause of one's state of mind. दुख का कारण ऐसा नहीं है कि दुख आता नहीं है. बाहर से आता है, डिफिकल्टीज कम, दुख आता है, मगर उसका कारण कौन है? That is me not doing what I should be doing, when I should be doing, how I should be doing, at the time when I should be doing. That just doing my dharma, however unpleasant it be, however difficult it be, like for Arjun. Why is fighting this war for Arjun supposed to be a dharmic war? Because in his kingdom, means in their kingdom, in their time, all kinds of unrighteous things were happening. And the cherry on the, I know that's a wrong example to give. The last straw on the camel's back, Draupadi's embarrassment of Draupadi in the court, embarrassing her. And here Krishna gives the logic to Arjun. She is one who is daughter of Drupad, wife of Pandavas, Vadhu of Kulvadhu of Kauravas, means the whole lineage. A person like that has gone through so much. What about an ordinary person? If such a person can go through all this, what is the state of people living in society at that time? And we are talking about that time. So Krishna said, don't make it a personal war. It's not for your land that you're fighting. You're not fighting for your kingdom. You're not fighting to take revenge back for what they have done to you or to Draupadi or to your entire whoever. You're not doing it as a personal revenge. If you can connect, in the first chapter, we did this in a lot of details. You want to avoid this war because you think I'm killing my grandfather and my teacher and all my whole clan will be destroyed. What worth is it? Better to renounce my kingdom. Your focus of attention is yourself. When your focus of attention is yourself and you are avoiding doing what you ought to do, इसमें भी एक कर्म है. तुम्हें लग रहा है कि मैं कर्म से विड्रॉ कर रहा हूं by not fighting this war. But उस withdrawal में कर्म हो गया. What is that कर्म? You are doing paradharma. You as a Kshatriya have a right to protect the people right in front of you. If injustice has come into your court, a palace, it's entered under your jurisdiction, right under your nose. That means that's how rampant the society has got corrupted and values have fallen completely. When the values fall in society, then who is to uphold those values? Who is to fight for the right thing? Those ones who are destroying the values of the society are within their own family. They are the kings. Dhritarashtra is the king. Whoever be the cause of that fall, your duty is to restore dharma back. You are a Kshatriya. You have to fight the war in the interest of the society, reinstate the right value. So if you come to power, what will happen? If Pandavas come to power, what happens? Dharma wins. The adharma that under their reign had spread, under the Dhritarashtra's reign had spread because of Duryodhan and Shakuni and all these people, that will be destroyed. And once again, when dharma is restated at the ruler's place, who makes laws. The one who makes laws, if he is a dharmic person, the society will benefit entirely and the individual will also benefit. That is why this akarma that you are thinking you should withdraw from, ye karam hai. And it will take you where? In the first chapter, what did Krishna say to Arjun? This akaram is actually karam. Iska phal ye hai ki tum narak jaoge. What will be you are thinking I'm avoiding. Look at what's the right word? Convoluted thinking that we hold as Arjunas. Arjun says, by fighting, I will go to Narak. Killing my own teacher and my own grandfather, I will go to Narak. उस कर्म का फल क्या है? नरक है. अपने लोगों को मारने का फल नरक है. कृष्ण क्या कहते हैं? ना लड़ो तुम अगर ये सही सोच से. You're not fighting for your sake. You're not to fight for your sake. If you will do karma to fight for your sake, it will become wrong action. Instantly it will bind you. Yes, you're right, you will go to Narak. मगर वही कर्म जो तुम्हें करना है, ये कर्म तुम्हारा धर्म था, तुम ही कर सकते थे. No, there is a very beautiful, I just saw, I forget the name of the clip I saw. It's hit me very beautifully to convey this point. It's the restaurant in New York, 11 Madison Street. Fork on your table. I think that's the documentary, Fork on Your Table. And the chef there, fantastic statement he's made. They had won Michelin stars and etc., etc., etc. And over a journey of a few years, they achieved this. And once they became number one restaurant in the world, first they were in USA and then they became in the world. The minute they became that, the head chef says, who owns the place, he says, suddenly there was emptiness. What more is there? We've done whatever we had to. There's no more further to go. They've got their Michelin stars. They have been declared the best restaurant in the world. There's no more to go, nowhere to go. Now what? And suddenly it started to strike him. Mind got relaxed probably because till then they were in that chase. And he realized the amount of injury they do to animals to create certain dishes. The way these farms are, animal farms, animals are raised, especially in the States, definitely it is very cruel. And he decided to start a vegan restaurant. We are not saying right or wrong. I'm only giving what is said. What his statement then was is absolutely in alignment with dharma. He says what turned the table for him was, he says, we are the ones who are the best in the world today. And what example we will set will become acceptable to everyone. So there is a higher responsibility on us to do the right thing. And so over a few months, and they had their own struggles, but sure enough, they at least earned something in the process. But what is the statement? Did he do that for his own ambition? His statement, at least what he said and what I'm understanding through that is, he says, I have a position of responsibility to all the people who look up to us. And that is defining his dharma. That awareness is his dharma. He doesn't know the word he's using. We are able to correlate because we understand all this. He has clearly defined it is my dharma to set the values right in this industry. Because It's horrible to see how they are bred. Animals are bred, farmed only to be executed. So he says he wanted to turn the table completely. And they managed to create in the same price that they were asking for dishes before, same price and complete. They have turned vegan, but I would say vegetarian. And what is this? In the context of Arjun now, correlate both the examples. Here is a person who reached the top and he could have just continued being there. No questions asked. He'd earned everything. But what did he do? He did not stop there. He converted that action, which was first a personal action. They wanted to reach the top. It was only a personal action, no dharma. It was his desire to reach the top, to get that phal. The minute he achieved it, what did he do? What occurred to him? He said it was emptiness. Because it was emptiness, started thinking. And now dharma started. In that karma that he decided, his swadharam, what did he do? He spread it into right values, etc. Now, in Arjun's case, this is his dharma to fight, not for personal reason. He cannot have that personal excuse to say because they have abused us, they have tried to kill us, they are taking away our. That is not the reason he is fighting the war for. That's exactly where Krishna says it applies to all of us in life, and Bhagavad Gita cannot become but a life manual. Therefore, why? Because here Bhagwan is telling us, अपने कर्मों को करो जो अपने कर्म हैं. Wherever your roles are in life, we all have roles we take from society. I have roles. I have a role as a daughter, I have a role as a wife, I have a role as a sister, I have a role as a mother, I have a role as a brother, father, whoever. Whatever your roles are, if you will make your action centered on yourself, that action will become the cause of your bondage tomorrow. फल मिलेगा जरूर, मगर वो आपको शांति नहीं देगा. वो फल दुख के साथ आएगा. It will come along with certain pain and certain pinprick. But if you center the action on to Allah, and that is what the whole Loka Sangraha and Yajna was all about, center your karma within your dharmic field, swadharam, usme karo, and Krishna says, without making it a personal centric action. That is a skill. Develop that skill, develop that attitude, because this will not be by default. स्वाभाविक नहीं होएगी आपकी ये सोच. You find these people who have who exercise a lot, and they have this whole fit body. And then there are some of us who don't exercise. And what is our body? By default, unfit. If the person who exercises also does not exercise, what will be by default his body or her body? Unfit. So what is required to keep it fit? Prayatna. In the same way, this karma and akarma that is by default our recognition, उससे अगर काम करते रहेंगे तो it is bondage. वो कुछ फल देगा और कुछ दुख लाएगा साथ. Let's accept it. But what is going to be prayatna is this attitudes that he spoke of in 3rd chapter. Karam karo yog buddhi se. Arpan karo. He says, if you don't understand anything else, mujhe arpan kar do. Ishwar arpan. He says, give them to me, offer them to me. Means, do not make your actions all about yourself. It's not about you. Don't do just for your own sake. And when you work for a larger cause, higher cause, and important is फल अभिसंधि से उसको मन को छोड़ दो. कर्म योगी तो सोचता भी नहीं है. फल के बारे में तो उसके ध्यान भी नहीं जाता है. The minute he finishes the work, he gets on to the next work. Because फल is not your jurisdiction. It comes in time. अगर आपने सही वक्त पे सही कर्म किया है, तो उसका फल विपरीत हो सकता है लॉजिकली. और अगर विपरीत हो भी गया, देन वो भी अर्पण है, वो भी प्रसाद है. There must be something because of which you are going through whatever you are going through. That's okay, it will pass away. It's not permanent. Thus he says, so the first drishti, I think we are very very clear now. अकर्म में जो कर्म देखता है वो बुद्धिमान है. And when we say अकर्म में कर्म देखना, मतलब करता है वो. और क्योंकि वो करता है, by not doing what you're supposed to do, you will land up doing what you're not supposed to do. And that pratishuddha karma, what he says as vikarma, that knowledge you should also have. ये मेरा धर्म नहीं है करने का. This is paradharma for me. That he says you will have to recognize also and abstain from falling into paradharmic avenues. Just because something allures you in the world doesn't make it your duty to do. Just suppose the whole world is riding on certain success story doesn't mean it will become your success story. Your success story will only be when you ride on your own dharmic field. Swadharma. उसमें जो भी आप करोगे, it will be successful the way you define your success. What is the final success everybody wants? Antakarana Shanti. And that Shanti cannot be created. And I'm going to underline this, highlight this as loudly and boldly as I can. You cannot create Shanti. Shanti is a prasad because of your own right doings. अपने कर्म जब हम सही रखते हैं, तो उसका प्रसाद है कि हमारा अंतःकरण शांत है. Why? Because आप जो कर सकते हो वो आप कर रहे हो. उसके बाद you know what your limit is. And the shanti that things like Karam Yoga says, because you're doing, that shanti you cannot create. And you keep praying to Bhagwan, hey Bhagwan, man shant kar, hey Bhagwan, man shant kar. I tell you, that is the greatest ashanti. Depending on Bhagwan to give you man ki shanti. Bhagwan says, I'm giving you knowledge, apne man ko shant kaise karo. I am not the one who can create shanti for you. You have to create your shanti. आपको मैंने पुरुषार्थ दिया है. अपने मन को व्याकुल भी आप कर रहे हो, शांत भी आप करो. भगवान क्यों शांत करेगा आपके मन को? भगवान ने व्याकुल नहीं किया आपके मन को. खुद आप डिस्टर्ब हुए हो, तो आप खुद शांत हो. बट शांत खुद कैसे हो सकते हैं? People give advices, go attend satsang, go do this, go do naam jap, go do, keep. Has anybody ever found shanti because of this? I tell you, I have attended many religious organizations and many groups I see. Wherever you will put your mind to say, let's do japa, let's do this, their minds are the most disturbed minds. What sort of a spiritual program is that? Which teaches, just force yourself to do that. That's why here in the Gita he says, Aapka gyan is going to be your highest sadhana. And he says later in the chapters 5th and 6th also, and I think later also, he says, it's the dearest to me. Gyan ki sadhana is the dearest to me. Why? Because Gyan ki sadhana equips you to know what is right and wrong. आप अपने मन को डिस्टर्ब करते हो. हाउ? राग द्वेष से कर्म करते हो. अहंकार से कर्म करते हो, hopes, fears, expectations, attachments, everything, every vice that, every impurity, no, let's not call it a vice, जो मल है मन के अंदर, उस मल को बढ़ावा देते रहते हो। तो बाय लॉ मल आपको शांति नहीं दे सकता। व्हाट इज मल? इम्प्योरिटी। Impurity of the mind cannot give you shanti. So when a karmas, a jiva, an individual chooses to do sorry, excuse me, chooses within their own capacity to do what they ought to be doing, man by default, again today it seems the highlight of the word is default, man automatically will become shant. Antakaran will become shant. How does one know one's action is dharmic? We'll take it at the end. Let me finish this portion. Let me see if we can cover that. It's a whole topic in itself. Let's see how best we can justify that. So we are clear on this one part. Akaram mein karam ki drishti rakhna, which means if you have to put it in a nutshell, इसको अगर निचोड़ के एक सेंटेंस में बोलोगे तो क्या है? अकर्म की स्थिति जीव भाव में है नहीं. Is that statement understood? There is no, with an individual sense that I am an individual, with that, keeping that sense in mind, there is nothing like a karma. So even when I'm doing practices, as they say, some acharyas have spoken of, like in yoga, you Patanjali yoga, you have these Ashtang yoga steps. So yama, niyama, excuse me, yama, niyama, etc. So all these that you have in the form of withdrawal, which you call as a karma, not eating, not talking, all those things which you think will be a karma, that is also karma. So as long as you're a jiva, yes, even when not acting, we are acting, right? Not acting, as long as I have a sense that I am the doer, karta, I am an actor. Even if my physical organs of action are kept curbed and I am not responding or reacting is the wrong word, responding to whatever the stimulus is, it is still karma. It is still karma. Now comes the second statement. We still have some bhashyam to go through, but complete the second part. He says, Karmani akarma yaha pashye. What have we seen so far? Akarmani karma yaha pashye. Sa buddhiman, sa yuktaha, sa kritsna karma krit. That we have finished seeing. Now the other statement. Karmani akarma yaha pashyet. And this is the subtle shift of perception entirely. कर्मों में जो अकर्म देख रहा है, जो कर्मों में अकर्म दिखता है, वो बुद्धिमान है, वो युक्त है, वो कृत्स्न कर्म, वो सब कर चुका है, वो accomplished है. Now what is this akaram? This akaram is not the jiva bhav akaram. This akaram, कर्मों में जो अकर्म देखना है, that is a paramarthik drishti. Atma is one's swarup, one's own inherent changeless fact. Till one recognizes it, it remains so. शरीर बदल बदल के जन्म आता रहेगा, हम मरते रहेंगे, लेकिन ये जो आत्मा है वो ना जन्मेगी ना मरेगी, ये साथ ही रहेगी. Always there, as in Laukic terms we say it's consciousness, it's awareness. Pure awareness, pure consciousness. But Real term is it's Atma, it's changeless. It's what is giving existence. The notion that I am, that existence notion is Atma. That Atma ना मरती है, ना बढ़ती है, ना जन्म लेती है, षड विकार रहित है, अविक्रिया है. That Atma is akarta. एकम एव अद्वितीयम. एक ही है वो. That Atma is akarta. But what are we doing? We are imposing karma on Atma, myself, mistaking myself to be the individual and then imposing karma on myself and saying, aham karomi, मैं करती हूं. तो जो इस सोच में मैं करती हूं, जो कर्ता भाव का सोच है, इस कर्ता भाव के सोच में अकर्ता को पहचानो कि कर्मा इस शरीर गुण संबंध, प्रकृति संबंध. प्रकृति कर्म करती है और प्रकृति कर्म किए बिना रह नहीं सकती. प्रकृति में कोई अकर्म नहीं है. कोई sun doesn't stop burning, it will only exhaust when there is laya to take place. The earth doesn't stop rotating and revolving. Karma, river doesn't stop flowing. Seasons don't stop rolling. In the same way, human beings, all life form, not human beings, all life form, the whole creation is nothing but gunas. कर्मों का आधार, आश्रय प्रकृति के गुण है. मैं नहीं हूं. What do we mean by मैं नहीं हूं? Now don't confuse it with the first portion that we have just done. Because over there we said, I am the one who's deciding to do or not to do. That is based on karta. Now it's a leap higher. इस कर्ता में अकर्ता को पहचानो कि ये कर्ता है ही नहीं. कर्म तो प्रकृति का स्वभाव है. मैं तो अकर्ता हूं. इन कर्मों में जो हो रहे हैं, उन कर्मों में जो अकर्मा है, कर्मों में अकर्म दिखता है. That Atma doesn't do anything and there is no action to be done. This whole thing is mithya. It's only an appearance. आज है कल नहीं है, अगले पल नहीं है. वह कल नहीं है. क्षण क्षण बदल रही है. क्षण भंगुर है. सृष्टि क्षण भंगुर है. What you have this moment is not even available next moment. It's all replacing itself. Our cells are replacing themselves all the time. But my feeling that I am existent is not replacing. When I was a kid, I said I am. I'm growing old. I'm saying I'm growing old, but I am. As a kid, I didn't have pain. I didn't know what pain is. As an old person, I have pain and now I know what pain is. But I am. वो जो कूटस्थ I am है, ये कूटस्थ अकर्ता है. इधर कोई कर्म नहीं है. In its own स्वभाव and स्वरूप as you are. When one who recognizes oneself as akarta, सह बुद्धिमान, सह युक्तः, सह कृत्स्न कर्मकृत, they have accomplished what all is there to accomplish. There is nothing more left for them to do. Because here you have seen that aropanam of karma on oneself is the cause of samsara. I'll explain. Aropanam of height of the body on oneself. And what do we say? How do we conclude? I am.
I'm tall, short.
I am tall, I am short. अब ये tall and short किसके गुण हैं? To whom do they belong? Tallness and shortness belongs to whom? To the body. to the height of the body. It is not the height of I. My weight has increased. I have put on weight. I have put on weight. Do you know the suffering comes along with it? I have put on weight. Oh, I have put on weight. That I have put on weight में जो suffering है has come because of what? The weight of the body I'm imposing on myself who's weightless. But when I don't recognize the weightless me, I associate with the weight of the body and say, I am putting on weight. And then I suffer because that's not a fact. I am not putting on weight. I cannot put on weight. I'm weightless. I'm formless, so where is the weight going to come? अब फॉर्मलेस में वेट कहाँ आएगा, हाइट कहाँ आएगी, रंग कहाँ आएगा, रूप कहाँ आएगा? जो निर्विकारी है उसको क्या विकार का रूप होगा? But I don't know that fact about myself. So I superimpose, and the Shastra's term is adhyasta. I superimpose the qualities of the body on myself, and then I suffer the conclusion because they are all wrong. मिथ्या, आप हो ही नहीं. जब शरीर ही आप नहीं हो, तो how have you put on weight? लौकिक व्यवहार, yes, good to say, time pass. When you meet with your friends and everybody, what else will you have a conversation about? What I ate and how you were before, and like last time I saw you, you were this, and now I see you, you have put on weight. This is that's okay. No, laukically, you please continue saying I have put on weight, otherwise people will call you crazy. But internally, who's a buddhiman? If you have not done the discernment of this nature and separated the weight of the body and placed it on the body and not on yourself, that's an internal work. One doesn't have to declare it to the world. विचार में हम उसको अलग करते हैं. दुनिया की व्यवहारिक जीवन में कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. Continue, otherwise it will confuse everybody and yourself also. What language the world talks, better to continue with that. But internally, don't delude yourself. So, this Atma, which is formless, which is ageless, which is colorless, which is changeless, which is birthless, which is deathless, which is diseaseless, which is ever there, Nityam,
Which is
Kutastham,
beautiful.
which is beautiful, absolute, which is ever there. Beautiful is a subjective thing. It is ever existent. It is never not there. वहां पे उस दृष्टि में बुद्धिमान कौन है? Who has that drishti always available? That light is always on. That knowledge is always perceivable. To such a buddhiman purush, he doesn't do the aropanam of karma on himself. He keeps doing karma that need to be done for whatever the reasons are, continues to do them, but never deludes that I am the doer. And if he doesn't become deluded, I am the doer, then I'm also not the enjoyer. That's right, Satyana. I'm also not the enjoyer. I don't experience the fruit of it then. Because my identification is with that which is. So, where did I not share the screen today?
No, they didn't share.
Okay, I thought it's disappeared. Oh, so where both the statements are clear? So, what is karma में अकर्म देखना और अकर्म में कर्म देखना? अकर्म में कर्म को देखना is karta bhav based individual notion, But this karta में akarta देखना, इस कर्म में akaram देखना. Both standpoints have been spoken of in the context of Arjun deciding to not take up his duty. And through that, it becomes a big learning to all of us. Huge learn. It's a life changer. For those who understand, it changes the direction of life completely and once and for all. आपकी आध्यात्मिक गति शुरू हो जाती है, आरंभ होती है. उसके पहले it's all bhatkan. Whatever we may call in life, there are many options available, sure enough. But he says, who's dear to me is the one who knows well enough कर्मों में अकर्म और अकर्म में कर्म जो देखता है वही बुद्धिमान है, वही कृत्स्न कर्म कृत है. So we saw yesterday that no, we had to do this, right? Paragraph? We have to do this. Okay. So we just saw that Purva Pakshi is saying means someone can have a doubt. What sort of a contrary? Now that we have clearly understood, the Purva Paksha's point has got dissolved. So if we take it up, we may get confused. Now it's just for understanding the portion now, because this clarity of thought should not disappear. Purva Paksha still doesn't have this clarity of thought, or those of us who still don't have this clarity of thought can raise this doubt to say, why is Krishna telling us such contradictory statements? Karam mein akaram dekho, akaram mein karam dekho. Now, who's this Purva Pakshi? In whatever we have said today, who would you place him to? कर्म में अकर्म देखो, अकर्म में अकर्म, ये उल्टा उल्टा क्यों बोल रहे हैं भगवान? कौन कहेगा ऐसे? Who is going to say that?
Sansari.
Okay, in today's class ka context, what are the words used? Sansari is right, but as said,
Mudha.
Mudha.
Mudha. Okay, right. That's right.
Karta.
By default, what available thinking we have, जो हमारी स्वाभाविक स्वजीव, the individual, the default सोच तो यही कहेगी ना, जिसको कर्म और अकर्म डिफॉल्ट से जैसा दिख रहा है वैसा, वो जिसकी दृष्टि अभी राइज नहीं हुई है, hasn't got corrected yet, that person is going to see as default what is available, right? So that person is going to ask, who's still stuck to the default thinking available. स्वाभाविक जो नेचुरल मेरे अंदर आती है कर्म को लेकर, अकर्म को लेकर, मैं सोचती हूँ कि मुझे तो सब पता है. What is the doubt there? कर्म तो शरीर से किया हुआ कर्म है और शरीर से ना किया हुआ कर्म अकर्म है. What is the confusion? This is what there is. This is clear to me. What is more to be known? इससे ज़्यादा क्या हो सकता है? You know how people start talking and then saying, what more can be there? And if you start saying, no, there is more, ज्ञानी मत बनो. ज्ञानी मत बनो. इससे ज़्यादा और क्या हो सकता है? That is a Purva Pakshi thinking. Invariably, most often, if someone says that to you, you should keep quiet. Don't give it back, because they're not ready to get self-correction. Where there is an absence of a will for self-correction in vision, in understanding, no explanations should be offered. Therefore, do not disturb the minds of the ignorant people who are attached to their thinking. So this Purva Pakshi, for the sake of ourselves, is asking and therefore wants to know. He's not to be looked down upon. उसने कहा था, ये कैसे पॉसिबल है कर्म में अकर्म देखना? क्योंकि दे आर ऑपोजिट्स. या कर्म है या नहीं है. दे आर ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट. So answer was given, and he says it's not like that they are black and white. We've concluded the answer as we've said, and in 18.3 he had just said It is not like kunda and means in a bowl you have a berry. Krishna is not saying like that. In a bowl you have a berry, so look at the berry in the bowl. It's not that. It is like you look at water in a on a sand, in a mirage. The perception of karma and akarma is like that. Because you are seeing water where there is sand, so the injunction is, so the teaching is, so Krishna is saying, look at water, I'm sorry, look at sand instead of water. Look at the rope instead of the snake. That's the correction he does. And then he says further, we have few more minutes. Yes, we need to finish this today. Nanu, again, he's raised another point. The Purva Pakshi is now to consolidate our perception. He shares another doubt so that when it's dispelled, our nishtha in our understanding gets firm. What is his doubt? He says, Karma, karma eva sarvesham. Always, sarvesham. कर्म तो कर्म ही रहती है हमेशा. करना तो करना ही रहेगा ना हमेशा. Doing will always be remaining as doing. Work will always remain as work. Na kvachit vyabhicharati. It can never undergo a change. So the black and white perception. Karma doesn't have a vyabhichar. Vyabhichar means it changes itself. Karma will always remain karma. And so too, akarma will always remain akarma. Where is the vyabhichar? Ki karmo mein akaram dekho. That means you're asking for a change. Even to understand a Purva Paksha's question, we need some intelligence. We need some appreciation of what he's asking, because his questions, whatever bhashyams pick up as Purva Pakshas, are very important doubts we hold in our own unthinking state. And so they are brought up and then the right answer is given. So if we say no, how can karma become akarma? That means thinking is incomplete. Tat na. It's not to be seen like this. व्यभिचार है. किसमें है? कर्म अकर्म नहीं बनता, मगर कर्म को अकर्म देखना में व्यभिचार है. It's a perception. I'm repeating. Actual work done is not told to be seen as not work done, like we said yesterday. People do work and then say, nahi, nahi, हमने कुछ नहीं किया. It's not as not to delude it like that. हम तो नहीं कुछ करते करके. करा है तो करा है. Right? Karma will never become akarma in that sense, but in the sense of mistaking it. Just as nausthasya navi gachantyam tatastheshu agatishu nageshu pratikula gati darshanat. Nausthasya navi. The person sitting, navi is the one who's sitting in the nauka, in the boat. Sitting in the boat, nausthasya. Navi, the one who sits in that boat, seated in the boat, the person. Gachantyam tatastheshu. As the boat is moving, the shore, which is otherwise stationary, in that stationary shore, agatishu, which is not moving, which is stationary, nageshu, pratikula darshanat. Nageshu is trees, plural, trees. Pratikula, opposite direction, as if the trees are moving. So the person sitting in the boat, when the boat moves, he sees the trees moving in the opposite direction. What is this an example of?
परसेप्शन वो से जो दिखता है वो हमेशा होता नहीं है. Perception, mind is
Yeah,
the
be
perception.
more specific to this context. Otherwise, generally correct. What is this? What is the topic going on?
कर्मा.
हाँ,
Karmas.
excellent. Karma, akarm का topic है. So, what is this an example of? And I'm going to repeat it. It's already written also, actually, but I'm repeating it. The boatman is moving, but he sees the stationary trees as moving. What is the nature of the tree?
It's stationary.
It's stationary. Agati. उसमें कुछ movement नहीं है. अकर्म. उस अकर्म में, अगति में, उसको क्या दिख रहा है बोटमैन को? मूवमेंट, कर्म दिख रहा है. उसको मूवमेंट दिख रही है, उसको कर्म दिख रहा है. Right? In that station, हाँ, very good. Seeing akaram में कर्म. You are seeing akaram में कर्म. And the opposite, other example, he says, Dureshu chakshusha sannikristeshu gachatsu gatya bhava darshanat. Dureshu, far off. Chakshusha sannikristeshu. In far off, when you see the person moving on a far off mountain, gati abhava darshanat. You can't see them moving. So there is movement, but what are you seeing?
Akarma.
Akarma. Gati में agati. कर्म में अकर्म देख सकते हैं is the correction of the doubt that can come. कर्म में अकर्म कैसे देख सकते हैं? क्रिया में अक्रिया कैसे देख सकते हैं? So yes, you can mistake it. You can transfer movement in perception to a stationary thing which is not at all moving, and the same thing can happen. Vice versa. Evam, iha api. Here also in the same way. Akarmani karma darshanam. अकर्म में भी कर्म दर्शन होता है. And कर्मणि च अकर्म दर्शनम. And in action, कर्मों में भी अकर्म दिखता है. अकर्म में कर्म दिखता है और कर्म में भी अकर्म दिखता है. Because it is happening. It's a living thing. It's happening to us all the time. In fact, our default vision is the same. That's avidya. That's adhyas. Yena tan nirakaranartham. To give the correct perception that you see gati in agati and agati in gati correctly. That means even when you see the tree moving, you can see the movement in the tree, but आपको क्या देखना चाहिए उस movement में? I'll repeat. When you are sitting in the boat and you are seeing the movement of the tree in the opposite direction, what did Krishna say you should see in that movement? उस कर्म में क्या देखना चाहिए? वृक्ष स्थित है, वृक्ष हिलता नहीं है, अकर्म. You should see stationary. Vriksha is not moving. While you are perceiving the movement of the tree, karmani, stationary vriksha. Vriksha is not moving. It is only my perception. कि वो जा रहा है। ट्रेन जब जा रही है, स्टेशन में सब लोग उल्टा चल रहे दिखते हैं। नो 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 नो, लोग नहीं जा रहे, ट्रेन जा रही है। So you make the correction. You don't start believing that the tree is moving. You know the tree doesn't move. The movement is just a appearance. It's not actually there in the tree. Akaram में karam दिख रहा है. And the opposite is karam में akaram दिख रहा है. Tan nirakaranaartham. For the correction of this move, विपरीत darshan that we already have by default. आत्मा में हम कर्मा को अध्यास करते हैं और अकर्म में हम कर्मा का अध्यास करते हैं। अकर्म में कर्मा का अध्यास करते हैं और कर्म में अकर्म का अध्यास करते हैं। Right? For that recorrection, reorientation, Bhagwan has said karmani akarma ya pashyat. He gives this, see them correctly. Then he says, let's finish this. I have set a certain marker. We need to finish this today so that we are also moving at the right pace and not losing out on the thought process. Tat etat ukta prativachanam api. He says, now the same thing, tat etat. Hasn't this already been said that Atma is akriya, Atma is akarta, Atma is avikari? This has already been said. Ukta has been said. Prativachanam has also been answered. The question has been raised as answered. Asakrit, again and again. Atyanta viprita darshana bhavitataya. Very important words. Atyanta. Atyanta means unending. What should be the other meaning for it? Atyanta. Endless. Viprita darshana bhava. That what we hold very strongly. The viprita darshan. Moha muhyamanaha lokaha, which has deluded the people. What is the deluded people? This viprita darshan has deluded people. And what is the viprita darshan? Karam, action में अकर्म को देखना और अकर्म में कर्म को देखा। हमने उल्टा किया हुआ है. Which means where there is inaction, we should be seeing action, and where there is action, we should be seeing inaction. Right? But we are seeing ulta. मैं करता हूं, मैं कहता हूं, आत्मा करता, आत्मा करता है, मैं आत्मा हूं, वो नहीं हम कहते. सो ये जो विपरीत दर्शन है बहुत दृढ़ है. श्रुतम अपि, even though we have heard the answers and we know it, asakritya tattvam vismritya, superb. Even knowing it, this is so deeply seated in us. Mithya prasangam, this mithya gyan is so deep samskritam in us, embedded in us, that we again, though shrutam api, even though we hear it asakrit again and again, that tattvam, that I am Atma akarta, vismritya, we keep forgetting again and again also. हम सुनते भी बार बार हैं और हम भूलते भी बार बार हैं. क्यों भूलते हैं बार बार? Why do we forget this? Because it is atyant. He's going to say avatarya chodayati iti punaha. We keep asking also again and again because we keep forgetting. So the context keeps coming again and again. Again in a chodayati, tell us Why am I suffering? Tell us. Why am I bound? Tell us what is birth. So again and again we keep asking, and again. Therefore, punaha punaha uttaram aha Bhagavan. Again and again, Bhagavan is giving us the answer. Why? Durvigneyatvam. Why do we keep forgetting again and again? It's subtle to know. It is far reaching. It's an evolved perception. It's a high perception. Durvigneya. थोड़ा मुश्किल है समझना इसको. For whom? For a non-thinking average person जो मोह मोहिया हो चुका है by deluded by the body and senses. च आलक्ष्य वस्तुनः. So durvigneyatvam cha alakshya vastuna. This is difficult to know and also has a lot of dridta in us. So we keep forgetting, and it is said again and again. Where did he say again? Avyakto, I am achintyo, I am avikaryo, I am, second chapter, 20th verse, and na jayate mriyate va, 25th verse. These two verses is quoted here, ityadina, to say what? Atmani, in Atma, in oneself, karma abhava. It has already been actually said in the second chapter. The same thing has been said. What verse we are now seeing as terse was already explained in different ways in the second chapter. Atmani, karma abhav. In Atma, there is no karma. Avyakta, I am achintya. Go back to those verses and you will see the same context being said. Shruti smriti nyaya prasiddhaha uktaha vakshyamaanascha. And also will be said again later. So it's not only it has been said before, it has been said before, I'm saying it now, vakshyamana, and it will be said ahead also, in later chapters also, which will be according to Shruti, Smriti, and Nyaya. Acceptable to Shruti, Upanishads, Smriti, all the Smriti Granthas means the whole thinking process, Nyaya, logical process, Nyaya Darshan also, in every way, what appeals to reason is going to be explained again and again. Tasmin karma abhave akarmani karma viprita darshanam atyanta nirudham. That's what I was just saying. It is extremely atyanta nirudham. बहुत दृढ़ है ये. कर्म अभावे अकर्मणि karma viprita darshanam. Seeing karma, the knowledge of karma and its viprita darshan is very drid. Drid, very drid means it's very firmly rooted in us. Yataha, because kim karma kim akarmeti kavayaha api atra mohitaha. Even the knowledgeable people, kavayaha, wise people, are deluded. What is karma and what is akarma? Even they are deluded. Why? What is the answer? Because it is difficult to know and it is repeated despite being told, we keep forgetting it because our own sanskar, our own viparita gyan is drid. I'm repeating once more in case someone has missed. What is the viparita gyan? Viparita gyan is this superimposition, itare itara bhavaha, superimposition of one on the other that we are doing. What are we doing? We are on this Atma, akarta, akarma. We are imposing the karma bhav and concluding, he's going to say this in the next line, concluding that I am the doer. Deha Adi Ashrayam. Based on Deha Adi means body, mind, and senses. Karma Atmani Adhyaropya. Karma which is based on the body and senses and the mind, we are imposing it on oneself. Atmani. Imposing on oneself and quote now. Aham karta. I am the doer. Mama etat karma. This is my karma. That my mama should be highlighted. My karma. Maya asya karmanaha. Phalam bhoktavyam iti cha. By me will be the fruit of this karma enjoyed. Maya, mujhse, mere se, by me. Asya karmanaha. Phalam. This fruit of this action, bhoktavyam, will be enjoyed by me. Bhoktavyam means to be enjoyed by me. Iti cha. In this manner, this is one adhyaropanam. What is the adhyaropanam? Deha adi ashraya karma. This is one part. What is adhyaropanam? Atmani adhyaropya. Atma में अध्यारोप करके then I think aham karta, etc. So that aham karta is entirely superimposition on Atma of karma which Prakriti does, Deha does. And tathacha aham tushnim bhavami yena aham nirayasah akarma sukhi syam. Aham tushnim bhavami means I am doing nothing. I am motionless. I am actionless. I will do nothing. Tushnim, I am sitting doing nothing. Yena aham nirayasah. Because of which I am without any effort. No prayatnam. That is akarma. Sukhi syam. I am happy doing nothing. That happiness is what is imposed there. सुखी हूं मैं कुछ ना करके. इति कार्य करण आश्रय व्यापार उपरमम. कार्य करण आश्रय मीन्स देह आदि आश्रय. व्यापार उसका जो इंटरैक्शन होना चाहिए. कारक we did yesterday. कर्ता ने कर्म को करण से etc. So for every karma you will have that interaction. Uparamam, withdrawal from that. Tat kritam cha, having done sukhitvam, that sukhitvam, happiness, by withdrawing myself from actions, the happiness that I conclude atmani adhyaropya, on oneself, na karomi kinchit, tushnim sukham ase iti abhimanyate lokaha. People think na karomi is happiness. That is, sukhitvam has been imposed on Atma by not doing what is to be done. Tatra idam lokasya viparita darshana apannayanaya. Therefore, this viparita darshan that the world has, for its correction, apanayanaya means by correcting it, aha bhagwan karmani akarma ya pashyat. He gives us this. Okay. Wow, it's time already. Quickly, this is just the same thing now, though it does explain. I think we'll take it up. I don't know. Let me try it. See. Atra cha karma karmaiva sat karya karanashrayam. Atra cha here karma eva remaining. Karya karana ashrayam. Karma is always based on karya and karana sambandha. Karma rahite avikriya atmani sarvaihi adhyastam. And absence of karma is imposed upon avikriya atma by everyone. When they say, I will do nothing. Yataha, because of which, panditaha api, even the knower says what? Aham karomi iti manyate. We are all pandit now. We all know now. We will all still be saying, you are still students, okay? You have just learned. Maybe some of you have learned just now. Some of us have been learning it for many years now. People like us who are learning and teaching. What are we still saying? Aham karomi iti. That is why it is so dread. That is why you need the sadhana of nididhyasa. I think he says it here somewhere. That is why you need to again and again, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam again and again. Who am I? And that discernment has to be done again and again. Otherwise, the misperception that I am doing will take over. Ataha, therefore, because Atma Samavetataya Sarvaloka Prasiddhe Karmani Nadi Kulasteshu Iva Vriksheshu. Same thing that we've just Gati Pratilomyena Akarma Karma Bhavam Yatha Bhuva Gati Abhavam Iva Vriksheshu Yaha Pashyet Akarmani Cha Karya Karana Vyapara Uparama Karmavat Atmani Adhyaropite. We have just seen this, so I'm not repeating it. Tushnim Akurvan Sukhamase Iti. This is similar to what we have just said, so I'm bypassing that. Iti. Now comes the real point. Ahankar abhisandhi hetutvat. All this wrong perception is because this ahankar that I have, which is in association with the body, that I have abhisandhi, due to its association with the body, tasmin akarmani cha karma yaha pashyet. Yaha evam karma akarma vibhagnyah. Tushnim akurvan sukham says ahankara sandhi hetutvam. Are you clear, or is there a confusion here? Clear, no? So that ahankar goes with tushnim akurvan sukhamase. Tasmin akarmani cha karma yaha pashyet. That ahankar based akarma, whoever sees karma there, yaha evam karma akarma vibhagnyaha. Gnyaha means knower. In this manner, the one who is able to do the vibhag, the separation of karma and akarma properly. What is that proper is what is given in this paragraph here. That tushni makurvan sukhamase is actually ahankar abhisandhi hetu. And akarmani cha karya karana vyapara uparame karmavat atmani adhyaropite atma samavetataya sarvaloka prasiddhe karmani nadi kulastheshu iva vriksheshu. So just as in the vriksha, that is absence of gati there, akarma karma abhavam you see when you are seeing the karma. This is yatha bhut, seeing as is, that in atma no karma is done. Aham karomi iti, adhyas is not taken on oneself. This vibhag, whoever is doing karma and akarma properly, saha buddhiman panditaha manushyeshu. Amongst all the manushyas, people, he is a buddhiman. And saha yuktaha, he is yukta, he is a yogi, he is a kritsna karma krit. And important, saha ashubhat mokshitaha kritakrityaha bhavati ityartha. So why is he kritsna karma krit? Because when he is able to do this vibhag properly, what is karma and what is akarma. Then from all ashubhat, he gets freedom. Mokshitaha kritakrityaha. He's become kritakritya, done whatever has to be done. Iti arthaha. With this, actually, the verse gets explained completely with all the mananam that is required for this verse. Shankaracharya has given us the material for it. 18.7 onwards, he mentions of another commentary that was written at that time, popular also it was, perhaps. That's why he takes the mention of that, Vrittikara Matam. They see karma and akarma and define it differently. But we are not going to see this portion for now because it is a little in depth and we need a little more supportive knowledge built before that to take the Purva Paksha of another school completely. Here it is a Vritti Karamatam, who is a karma, Jnana Karma Sannyasi. They see karma and akarma differently, and that Bhashyakar has taken up also to refute it. We'll skip it because we'll keep to Siddhant for now. It is good for Mananam, but maybe separately we'll do it sometime because it's a little elaborate also. So, with this, we conclude the 18th verse. This is all, it's a few points up and down that the Purva Paksha speaks of. Not necessary. This clarity, if we hold first and do manan on this, then if the doubts arise, we can go back to that portion of the Bhashya. So next class, we'll do the 19th verse. Madhusudan ji also has mostly around the same point. There is also an extra point he gives, but that is also more in association with uh, a little more details. I think we'll skip that for now to just keep the pace going also, to keep moving the chapter. Otherwise, most of you may get overwhelmed by the discussion at the moment. This sorted out, reflect again and again, go over this. When this has become drid, then we can move into the deeper, further deeper. We are already deep enough, further deeper, so that it can give us clarity and not confuse us. Is that okay? We'll conclude the class here. Okay. Okay, everyone. If you don't tell me, then I won't know.
Yes, Diptiji, definitely okay now. Yesterday I was very confused, but today it's sorted out much, much better. Thank you so much.
Great. Okay, good. I'm that glad. That's why I thought so. And now further we will not do because I can re-confuse again because it's a totally different way of looking at karma and akarma, which Vedanta doesn't do. And it's only for full-time involved study at some point. Okay, I'll end the class here now. Sarvesham swastir Sarvesham shantir Sarvesham purnam bhavatu, Sarvesham mangalam bhavatu, Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, Sarve santu niramayaha, Sarve bhadrani pashyantu, Ma kaschit dukha bhag bhave. Om swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Recording stopped.
Hari Om, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Diptiji. Hari Om. Hari Om. Dhanyavad, Diptiji.
Dhanyavad, dhanyavad, dhanyavad. I hope it's all
help.
Full help.